Welcome back. Working out at the gym could cause some strain to your muscles, and although you may be sore, stretching may not always be the answer. That's why we have the head trainer from District Athletic Club, Derek, to discuss all of this. We're talking about the flexibility versus mobility of muscles.
Yeah.
Good morning. Thank you for being here this morning.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Explain to me the difference.
So flexibility is often described as, the available range of a joint in a specific movement.
Okay.
Whereas mobility is more personal. It's how much control do you have over your personal flexibility, over your personal range of motion. So an example would be, some people can go all the way back and touch the back of their neck, and some people, they can't get their arm all the way up, or whatever the case is. Well, that's the difference between, their personal mobility, that what they can do, what their range of motion is like.
So what should people strive to do then? If they have muscle soreness, how should they treat that?
Well, it depends. So if your muscles are sore, for example, from working out of the gym, then obviously you want to recover, you should stretch, you should do some things to make sure that...
So you should stretch?
You should after you work out. But if you have muscle tightness that is just inherent, it's chronic, maybe it happens all the time, maybe your chest is always really tight, or maybe your back, everyone's back is always really, really tight, so they want to try to pull their arms across and stretch. That's usually as a result of a muscle imbalance that they have. So that's not an issue, that's not a situation where you want to stretch. You actually want to stretch opposite muscles. You want to actually increase the control you have of those muscles. So an imbalance will cause similar feelings of tightness, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you want to stretch it.
Okay, so you should stretch. When should you stretch?
Right after working out is always
not
appropriate.
Before.
Not before. There's not a lot of research that shows that stretching is super appropriate before. You could, if you really had to get into a position that was, maybe your end range of motion, you need to be all the way up overhead. But unless you need to get to a specific position, it's not really necessary to work that end range.
But stretching is always important, right? Because flexibility can really help in other areas of your workout.
It all depends on what you're looking to do, what your goals are.
Okay.
It's all based on what do you personally want out of not just gym performance, but life performance. If there's something that's inhibiting you from doing something you want to do, then you might want to increase your end range of motion, your end range flexibility. It's personal to you. But if you don't need to do anything with it, then why create more range of motion that you inherently now have to learn to control? That's just more likelihood of an injury. Say you're, increasing the flexibility of your shoulders, and you've been here, but now you want to be here. Well, you have to train to control that end range of motion. And if you don't, you actually heighten the risk of injury. So there's a lot to go into it. It's a lot to consider. And if you're not 100% sure on what you're trying to do, what you're looking to do, you should talk to somebody about that, because that's a really, really quick way to become injured.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Derek. I appreciate your time this morning.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.